Hi, I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. The tea today is builders. Gonna take a little detour today. Yeah, I've got a ginormous playmat here, which I will talk about very briefly before we get on to the main topic. The detour today is, I've seen a lot of videos in the past couple of months about most anticipated games of 2024. This is going to be kind of not quite that, but sort of adjacent to that. I want to talk about my wish list, some games I am anticipating getting because I back them on some crowdfunding platform. One of the things I backed is, I gotta try to find a place to put my mug where it will not get knocked over, is the Whole Damn Verse Vera edition playmat for Firefly the game, which has things on the end for, these are your supply cards, the contract cards are at the other end. This is actually bigger than our dining room table. It was an add-on for the 10th anniversary edition upgrade campaign thing on GameFound last year. And I dithered about whether or not to get it because it is actually bigger than our dining room table. Though if we put the leaf into the table, I think it'll be okay, but it's still going to hang over by just about that much on the edges. But it's a nice big mat. It's got room for the player boards below, like some of the other decks that are here, like the Alliance deck, the Border Space and Rim Space decks there. And then we've got Misbehave over here. I can just barely get it into the frame. So yeah, this is massive and unwieldy. It came folded up, so I kind of spread it out on the dining room table in the hopes that I could get some of the creases out. But this is not actually going to work for the video. But I wanted to tell you things are starting to arrive from crowdfunding campaigns. So it seemed like a really good time to sort of roll this up here. It seemed like a really good time to talk about what's coming up for what I'm hoping to get, what I'm thinking about getting, what I really, really want to get. And what I'm definitely going to get because, pretty definitely. I don't usually back any crowdfunding campaigns that seem a little sketchy, that have a bad track record. I have the past couple of years backed some first-time projects that were very much passion projects, and that worked out okay last year, and I think it'll work out okay this year too. But mostly I tend to stick to stuff that I'm fairly sure that it's not a risk to back. And I love Firefly. It's my favorite game. So I had to back the upgrade kit, the 10th anniversary Veterans upgrade kit, I think is what it's called. And the add-ons are shipping separately from the main thing. So the add-on got here, which was the Vera mat, got here before the game did, or the upgrade did. Upgraded components, promo cards, it's got, I don't even remember what else. And I just saw a squirrel run by the window out of the corner of my eye. Distracting. Anyway, tea. Today, we're getting an expansion today. It's supposed to be delivered today. We actually ordered it a while ago, and there was this weird delay before it was shipped, and that is the expansion for Sea Salt and Paper. So I've actually been looking forward to that for a very long time because we love Sea Salt and Paper. That should get here today. I want to get Explorers of the North Sea because, as some of y'all know, we've started working our way through the Garfield Games trilogies, beginning with the easier games that are the North Sea games. And we don't have Explorers yet. So Explorers is something that we're going to pick up this year and that I'm much looking forward to playing because we enjoyed both Shipwrights and that's the second edition Shipwrights, not the new one, and Raiders of the North Sea. I am still trying to get my hands on, and some of y'all that have been watching for a while remember that I mentioned this quite some time ago last year. I'm still trying to get my hands on the collector's edition of Welcome To. I fear this is going to end up as a Grail game for me because it's available in Europe. I've looked at some UK game stores and they've still got it as pre-orders. Australian game stores have it as pre-orders. Canadian game stores have it as pre-orders. US game stores don't have it at all. So I don't know if there's like some kind of a delay in getting an English language edition out, or if there is, because the original publisher of it is in France. I don't know if there's a delay getting an English language edition out, or if there is a delay because they are trying to find publishing partners in other countries. It used to be distributed by Deepwater Games here in the US, and then Deepwater Games very abruptly became Friendly Skeleton, which is a horrible game title. And not just my opinion, a lot of other people online also think, my God, why did they do that? And I don't really know why they did that, but they did that and they redid their website. And for a long time, there wasn't much in the way of Welcome To on there, and they're still not showing Collector's Edition. In fact, the last time I looked, they didn't even have the base game. So, yeah, I'm still hoping to get my hands on that. That is something that I'm very much looking forward to this year, but I am no longer confident that I'm going to be able to snag a copy because I just don't know exactly what's going on with its distribution. It does not seem to have global distribution. So that's something to keep in mind if you've also been waiting for your local game store to get it, or your local online retailer. It's not just you or your particular store. I've looked and looked, and it's very hard to find outside of Europe. At least not as anything other than a pre-order. Now, the fact that a lot of stores have it as a pre-order is a very good sign. That means that they have some kind of reasonable expectation that they will get it in stock. So, I mean, I am still kind of hopeful, but I'm no longer saying, oh, any day now. Newer games that have gone onto my wish list or my maybe list is Aqua Biodiversity in the Oceans. I've seen some playthroughs of this, and this looks like it is right in our wheelhouse, like the kind of thing that we would both be good at and enjoy. So that's a definite maybe, shall we say, for getting games this year. I'm also thinking about NAR. A lot of people like NAR. I've seen how it plays. It does look like it plays well. But seeing as how we've just gone kind of full Viking with the whole North Sea trilogy, I no longer feel that strong impetus to get NAR because we are up to here in Vikings as it is. But I'm thinking about NAR. It's a small box game, and I think it might be something we would like. I am also thinking about Life of the Amazonia. It's beautiful. I've looked at how it played. I've done some research on it. It definitely seems like something that we would like. But the bigger the game, the less often it hits our table. Because we're weekend gamers. We are casual. My husband Robert and I were casual weekend board gamers. And a lot of times what that means is fitting games in around other activities on the weekend. Maybe other fun activities, but not game activities. So a lot of times, small box games get played more frequently than larger games because you can take them out and drop them onto the table with almost no setup and knock out a game in between doing other things. It's like, got to meet the family at 2? Well, yeah, I can get in a game of this, But so yeah, I do have a long pause and a good hard think before I get before I get longer games or heavier games, because I need to kind of consider how often we will play it and how much we will like it, and whether or not it would truly be worth it. But I am thinking strongly about Life of the Amazonia. Fossilis has also gone back on my wish list, and it is not a new game. It's from Kids Table Board Gaming, and you are archaeologist, and you are actually excavating for bones, which are in recessed chambers of a plastic board, and there are tiles on top of those chambers that you have to remove to get at the dinosaurs. And this has gone on and off of my wish list. It just looks so appealing, and I researched it and I watched playthroughs and stuff. I thought, oh man, I would have loved this game as a kid. I would have played this game until I destroyed it, like all the pieces worn out, because it just seemed like such a me kind of thing. But then I thought, but will I like it because there's a lot of games I played as a kid that I have zero interest in playing as an adult. But I'm kind of thinking like, oh, I would have loved this as a kid. And it's like, I kind of think I would like it as an adult, but I think, but is this really for adults? Will adults enjoy this? And I don't know, I think the jury may be back on that, because increasingly I do know adults that do enjoy it. So Fossilis may turn up on our table later this year. So anyhow, what else have we got here? There are crowdfunding things. Of course there are crowdfunding things. I mean, I don't back a lot. I backed more this past year than I thought I would, because things came up that were sort of unexpected, I guess you might say. Besides the Firefly 10th Anniversary Edition, and I'm getting the Veterans Upgrade Kit, which was on GameFound. Also on GameFound, Red Raven Games did a new game plus reprint campaign for games that had gone out of print. Rome and Owlbound were out of print, and I didn't realize that. Rome is one of my all-time favorite games, and I didn't realize that it had gone out of print. I didn't actually realize that it could go out of print. I damaged some of the cards and then sleeved them. Damaged them when shuffling because I was just way too rough and one of the corners and edge towards. So then I sleeved them. And I thought, well, I can always pick up another copy of the game sometime and replace it if I, someday, and not really giving it much thought. And then I found out it's out of print. So I said, well, damn. So I looked at their new game. It looks good. It's also set in Arzium, and we do like Arzium. So I backed Creature Caravan, and I backed Islebound, which I have never seen. It's one of those games I wanted but could never find a copy of. I mean, I knew that one was out of print. And I also got myself another copy of Rome, and I think I will just gift my damaged copy to someone else because it's such a good little game. Those are some that I am anticipating and that I'm really looking forward to getting. Another Red Raven game that's been on my wish list for a while and that I probably should just go ahead and pick up, though I'm trying not to buy too many games until we finish playing the games that are unplayed, or at least the unplayed games that could reasonably be played by 2 players on a single weekend or a day or whatever. Because I do have a campaign game and a legacy game, which are going to probably stay on the shelf forever. And I do have several games that can only be played with more than 2 people. So that's kind of a thing. But yeah, I should pick up Near and Far. That's been on my wish list for a while now. And it was not part of the reprint campaign. As far as I know, it's still in print. Kickstarters, I backed Canopy Evergreen, so that should be coming in sometime this year because we love Canopy. Canopy, like Rome, is one of our all-time favorite games. I mean, Canopy and Rome are 2 small box games that basically could just hit the table anytime. We've played those to death. I sleeved Canopy and got a card map to put cards out on because I was noticing the edges of the cards were starting to look just ever ever so slightly worn. And these are ones where you really, really don't want to be able to anticipate what cards are coming up. So I sleeved them, and I got a card mat for picking up cards. Everything. It's like, I must protect my game of Canopy. So why did I get Canopy Evergreen? Well, we love Canopy, but Canopy is fundamentally a 2-player game. There is a 3 or 4-player variant in the box, but we've never tried it, and it plays perfectly at 2. It is built to be played at 2. This is from Weird City Games, Tim Eisner, designer, and it is so good. It's got a wonderful little push your luck element, and I think you might like this even if you don't really like push your luck, because it's kind of fun. This is a good example of why push your luck can be fun in games. But yeah, Canopy Evergreen, you can play with more people. So because we love Canopy so much, we can't really sit down for a game of Canopy with our friends, because Canopy is really, really primarily built as a 2-player game. So this opportunity to get a more deluxeified version, and I think they've got 3D trees and stuff like that, that you can play with more people, I couldn't pass that up, since this is one of our all-time favorite games. I also backed some Terraforming Mars expansions. I backed the Prelude 2 expansion and the Awards and Milestones expansion. I was a little on the fence about Prelude 2, because I'm still kind of it's okay, I like it, fine, but the Prelude is kind of a take it or leave it sort of expansion for me. And I know that most people consider it essential, but I've got this weird thing. I like that slow start in Terraforming Mars. I do sometimes play with Prelude, but I don't feel like Prelude is absolutely necessary. It's more a matter of the mood that you're in. But I got Prelude 2 because going in on the campaign would allow me to get some promo cards, some the Awards and Milestones expansion, which does look nifty, because what it means is, because I also got other player boards, and I have the other player boards for the one other player board that's been available for Terraforming Mars. So you can swap out the Awards and Milestones on the boards, because essentially now they're little cardboard pieces that fit over there. So you can kind of make your own custom board and custom Awards and Milestones. And I like that. I like that flexibility. So I am looking forward to that. And what else? Oh yes, the one game by a first-time designer, which is a passion project of his that I backed this year, was Mycelia, by a British artist. And the mushroom artwork is just absolutely beautiful. And the gameplay is really nice too. We have watched stuff on the gameplay, both Robert and I, and we're looking at this and we're going oh yeah, I think this is going to be pretty enjoyable. There are some area control aspects of it, because it's spreading out spores on the board and things like that, so that you're competing over territory. And I wouldn't have thought that we would particularly like area control, and there's probably area control games that Robert and I are not going to like, because we are not super combative gamers, and a lot of area control games are super combative, very aggressive. But we love Rome, and that has opened us up to the possibility of getting more games that have area control aspects, because in certain contexts, I think we're good with it. We've got Bunny Kingdom, and we love Bunny Kingdom too. And I've heard people describe Bunny Kingdom as being vicious, but no, those bunnies are not vicious. Maybe a little. Sometimes they're sneaky. But anyhow, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Mycelia. I'm looking forward to having it on the table, because I think it's going to be beautiful. And the gameplay just looks really enjoyable. And I mean, that's what we look for, is gameplay that is really enjoyable for us. Things that we're going to enjoy playing and have fun playing. So I'm looking forward to those things. And speaking of crowdfunding, I think I've covered everything on the list. Oh Oh, no. Yeah, no, I didn't. I skipped something. There was recently a crowdfunding campaign by Pencil First Games. I think it has now ended for a game bundle that was the pocket edition of Floriferous, a solo game which was something about snow, and it was tile laying, and an artist studio kind of game. And they all looked good, and I don't actually have Floriferous, but after dithering about it for a very long time, I've decided I'm just going to get the full-size version of Floriferous, which is available at any time, rather than get the pocket version. I've got the pocket version of Sunset Over Water. And so I think I want to go, and I've got the full-size version of Herbaceous, so I think I want to go full-size with Floriferous. And after dithering about it a little while, I just decided that I would wait and pick up the other games at some other time if I still want them. I mean, that crowdfunding campaign looked very appealing as a bundle. And in one of the Discords, there was some discussion about this stuff, and bundles are really good for people that are overseas, because if you're just ordering one game at a time, the shipping will eat you alive. Whereas it seems like the indications are from some of the people in Discord that it becomes a little bit more bearable if you're basically going in for a bunch of games in one bundle on Kickstarter. But I'm probably going to pick up Floriferous sometime this year. We do like Pencil First Games. And there was a crowdfunding campaign that I passed on because it was done by a major publisher, and I knew this was going to hit retail. And that was Let's Go to Japan. I've watched some playthroughs of this, and I think that we're going to enjoy that a lot, and we're going to pick that up when it hits retail. Also, and I did not write this down. How did I miss this when I was going through making my list? There was recently a campaign for, I think it was some kind of anniversary edition of Silver, but it was Silver with a lot of extras and add-ons and stuff, which I didn't feel like we needed. But there's also 2 new Silver decks that were part of it, and some of the fancier add-on stuff will not hit retail and may or may not be in the online store, but we really just want the decks of cards. And the 2 new Silver decks will hit retail, so we'll probably pick those up when they hit retail. But the final crowdfunding note, I think it's the final crowdfunding note, if I haven't forgotten to write something down, is there's a Button Shy reprint campaign going on right now on GameFound. They are reprinting 3 popular games that are out of print, and something you should be aware of is that all Button Shy games are not going to stay in print. There are some Button Shy games, if they're super, super popular, they'll get a couple of reprints, but a lot of times Button Shy games are one and done, or maybe one and some years later they might be reprinted. So if there's a Button Shy game that you really want, or some Button Shy games that you really want, you should probably get them when they're available, because they're not like some big box game by a major publisher that you can pick up anytime. So there are 3 games that are the basic campaign, and then there will be 3 games that are added on later. The 3 games that are part of the basic campaign are Numbsters, which is so good. That is wildly addictive, and you can more or less play it in your hand, though you need a spot to lay down a draw and discard deck. Numbsters, Skulls of Sedlick, which everybody loves this game, but I'm just going like, I don't know. But I've decided to get it. Numbsters, Skulls of Sedlick, and Seasons of Rice, which has been on my wish list for a while. So, and there's expansions, a ton of expansions for Skulls of Sedlick that you can put as add-ons. I mean, I had no idea there were that many expansions for the game. I didn't add on any expansions because I'm still not sure if I'm going to like the game. But I do want to try it since I don't know a single person who doesn't love it. I didn't get Numsters, obviously, because I've already got it, but I did go in for Sedlick and Seasons of Rice, so eventually you'll be seeing that on our table. And I got the Jasmine and Ginger expansion for Seasons of Rice, which is also available. And there is a 2-card expansion for Numsters, which is available as an add-on also. The 3 games that will be added to the campaign as stretch goals are met. And I don't actually know what the stretch goals are. I guess they will just like announce it in updates or something. Those will be voted on by the people who pledge. So this is a chance for people to pitch their favorite games to come back into print. And this is how some games that are not super popular sellers may get another small reprint if enough people want them. So that's pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing what's on offer for those 3 games, and I may add another game or 2 in there. Ah, and there went my pin. It wasn't attached. Great. But it's been fun sitting around the table chatting with you about what is to come and what's already here. I'm just gonna like leave this flattened out on the table quite a bit to see if I can get some of the wrinkles out of it, and then I may roll it up. But we're probably not gonna get Firefly the game out onto the table until the expansion upgrade, the upgrade kit, which has a new expansion in it. And by the way, the Veramat, which has cards, spaces for cards on them for the different supply decks and things, it does have a slot for a labeled and photographed slot for the new expansion. So that's good too. It is the most up-to-date playmat. Not that I've always got to have the most up-to-date stuff. I just discovered that and I'm going like, oh, cool. I guess I just wasn't paying attention if they said that in the campaign. But I will see you again with more actual games on the table sometime soon. Until then, I'll see you next time around the table. Let me know in comments what games that you're looking forward to this year and what games that are on your wish list or maybe have been on your wish list for a while. Bye.